Hello, 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 hello. Let me just scoot this computer over here so it makes more sense. Scoot over here. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Show. And we will be, well, first of all, we're going to be moving these lights because it is really not lining up the way I wanted to. Okay, so I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Show. You see the title, you know what we're talking about, and we have some bills to pay. I don't like this seat at all. Let's see if I can move this light. Okay, that's a little better. So we have some bills to pay. First, hit that subscribe button. Hit it, smash it, obliterate it. We're at 384 now. We're still far away from our 1,000 goal. I don't know if we're gonna make it, but please, 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 if you're watching this or any of my other shows, hit the subscribe button. Subscribing really helps to get the message out. It is free, absolutely free, absolutely free. Um, it doesn't cost you a thing to subscribe to the channel. You can also hit the notification button to be notified when the show goes live. I did forget to say this: support me on Patreon. I do have a Patreon. I have yet to get a Patreon subscriber. Subscriptions do start at $2 a month. And remember, in 2026, I'll be doing yet another podcast, but it's Patreon exclusive, meaning you cannot see the podcast unless you contribute $2 a month. It's just $2 a month, and you'll get to see my exclusive Patreon podcast. And I'm going to get the title right. One of these days, I'll get the title right. Um, and so there'll be polls in that Patreon clips. But again, remember that being a Patreon supporter means that you will get exclusive, which I'm trying to pick up the title because I always reverse it. So just give it a second here. Today, everything is going really slow. You guys, this is really slow today. High heels and blue jeans. That is right. That is the name of the podcast that will only be available on Patreon. High heels and blue jeans. Remember, yes, I do have a personal GoFundMe account. There it is right there. You know what my situation is. I would appreciate any support because I really need it, and I have only a short time to raise $2,500. And it's not a pleasant situation, but I don't want to burden anybody. But any donation, $1, $5, $10, $2,500, if you have it, would be just really appreciative. And I do appreciate the people that have already donated to my GoFundMe. But to learn more about it, just go to that address, GoFundMe.com/3C27071B2. That is the site. And also visit my merchandise store. Yes, it still exists. Yes, you can order your t-shirt. I promise that someday I would have a t-shirt giveaway, and I will do that. I absolutely will do that. I'm also working on notebooks for the channel to sell. That probably won't be on the Patreon. It'll probably be separate, but I'll be working on that. And also help us to get 75 likes and 45 shares. Remember to comment, like, share, and of course, subscribe. We're getting to the topic at hand. It says, rep to our favorite sitcoms. And I picked this topic because the situation comedy is dead. It's gone. It's never coming back. And that makes me sad, right? Because the TV sitcom was so important when we were kids, right? We would come in, you would block off time to see it. Back before streaming just destroyed everything. And there was an expectation. Even if you hated the show, even if you thought, oh, it's okay, there was some part of being attached to the TV sitcom. And that doesn't exist anymore. I can't name any modern, and when I mean modern, I mean like the 2000s and above. That'd be like what, last 25 years. There's just, it's just not there like it was when I was a child. There's certain things that have led to that, and this, I'm gonna probably keep this as a promise. This probably won't be a long podcast, because this is laundry day and my washer works, but my dryer doesn't. So I have clothes I gotta take to the dryer. I know that's too much TMI, but I don't know why I have burpy burps. But one of the things that led to the decline of the sitcom is the live studio audience. I would love when they would say filmed in front of a, like, whatever sitcom was filmed in front of a live studio audience. That made the show. Yes, they were telling people in the audience, the prompter or whatever that person is that holds up the sign that says laugh or say aw. But I think that was a really important element. You had actual people watching an actual show, and they got to sit there and offer their thoughts, not necessarily opinions, but they thought something was funny, they would laugh. And it wasn't, I know some shows manufactured their laughs so the audience laughs, but still having that gone, it's like I miss that. I wish there was a sitcom that actually started off, XYZ sitcom is filmed in front of a live studio. I just miss that. I really, really miss that. I also miss, and this is a hard one to talk about because I don't know how to properly um, say it. So I hope you all follow me. I miss where sitcoms would borrow plots off of each other. For example, there were certain sitcom plots that would always show up in one way or the other. You had the evil twin that would show up. Um, that was Small Wonder. What's Happening did it. I don't know if Family Ties did it. I know the Cosby Show didn't do it. Different World didn't do it. But some of those like B-level sitcoms, they did it where they would have like the one actor would play two roles, and that would be like the evil cousin, and they would blame like the good cousin for stuff. That one was a good one. The letter. So somebody would write a letter because they couldn't tell the other person, their love interest, how they felt about it. But the wrong person finds it, and they think the letter is about them. Mama's Family did that. A couple other shows did that, and I can't think of them right now. The We're Going to Jail one, like uh, I know Fresh Prince of Bel Air did it. Did Bosom Buddies do that? It was a lot of 80s shows, and 80s and 90s shows, 70s, 80s, and 90s shows where somebody would go to jail. Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son also did it. They would go to jail for, I don't know, stealing something, being a part of a porn movie, speeding, or racism, or something in that element. that was one that was did often. Oh, this one, a very, very special Christmas episode. So this one was really different. So what would happen? Of course, it would be shown in December, right? And the main characters would be all caught up in presents, and there's kind of like two Christmas episodes. So usually one of the main characters is like distressed. They got stressed, they can't afford presents, and somehow they say, "Oh, I wish I was never born." Then they go to sleep. Then they dream that they're in their version of Ebenezer Scrooge. They get visited by ghosts of Christmas present, Christmas past, and Christmas future. All with them not in any of the three, right? And then they wake up and then they say, "Oh, I realized I was wrong. I'm really fortunate. Look, Laverne and Shirley did that. Sanford and Son did that. I think All in the Family did that. I'm pretty sure the Jeffersons did that." Um, or the another Christmas episode would be like a bunch of super rich teenagers or really upper middle class would meet like a homeless person, or they would help at a homeless shelter, or they would help an elderly person that was alone for Christmas. um I know Saved by the Bell did it. And they would realize, "Oh, we have it so well. um Look at us, we're being selfish, and these people are really needy." Or there was another Christmas episode where they would all be going on vacation, and somehow they would get lost, or the plane didn't make it. Golden Girls did that one. They would not be going to their actual destination, and they realized, "Oh, look how fortunate we are." Notice that nobody ever did a Thanksgiving one, right? Nobody ever sat around and did like a Thanksgiving episode. Like nobody did. Who name a sitcom that does Thanksgiving episodes? I can't remember one. Another stolen plot would be We're Going to Court. Oh, this was there were so many that did this. So what would happen is the main character and like the sub main character would get in some type of altercation, and they settle it by going to some TV show judge. Fresh Prince of Bel Air did this. Mama's Family did this. Uh, I think Full House did it. Like a whole lot of I'm pretty sure Family Matters did it, and they would go and present their case, and they would do the whole episode in backflashes. Like they would tell their version of the story, and then the judge would get so irritated with both sides, he would just like throw it out and say, "You all settle it." And then they would get mad at the judge. That was a stolen plot. Another stolen plot was I Lost My Memory. Oh, this one was just a classic. Yeah. So what would happen is the main character, no, not usually the main character, one of the, well, sometimes it was the main character, would get knocked in the head and just completely lose their memory. And then they would do things that they wouldn't normally do. And then the people around them were like, either they would take advantage of it, or they would tell their version of how the person got knocked in the head and lost their memory. Like it would always be threes, right? And they would all tell like their version of how the person got knocked out and lost their memory. And then eventually the person would get their memory back and then tell like what actually happened. That was a good one. Um the Lost Loved One, that was done to like nauseum. I didn't like that one. Um Trying to think of another plot that was borrowed. I already talked about We're Going on Vacation. Um who didn't do that one? Um Facts of Life did that one. I'll tell you something else I miss about TV sitcoms. A very special episode. Oh boy, the shows in the 80s, they pulled this one all the time. So if you don't know this, the 80s were very, very special because they did those very special episodes. They would take like a really, really complicated issue. Um, a character had HIV/AIDS. So a child was getting beat by their parent. Um, they would talk about child pedophiles. They would talk about being kidnapped because they were hitchhiking. Um, a lot of shows did this. Small Wonder did it, where the little girl Vicky, the robot that talked like this, she talked like this. She saw a little girl on a carton. So she saw the little girl on a carton, like her friend. Like, why didn't her friend know that she wasn't a robot? I don't know. But Vicky saw this little girl on a milk carton, and it said she was missing. And like the girl was like, well, no, I live with my dad. Turns out the dad kidnaps the girl. He's arrested. So that was a very special episode. Then, of course, the big one was Different Strokes. Different Strokes did two very special episodes. Of course, the one that everybody knows is the um, Arnold and Dudley befriend this guy that owns a bicycle shop. Now, that guy played on WKRP, and don't ask me anything about WKRP because I did not like that show at all. I don't know the character he played on WKRP, and I don't know the character that he played on Different Strokes. But it turns out he was a pedophile. I hope I can say that word on YouTube. And he would show them pictures of naked bodies and give them some alcohol to drink. And for some reason, the kids were like, oh, this is normal. That's kind of like not normal. And matter of fact, that episode was so traumatic that Mr. Drummond, the guy that played Mr. Drummond, did like a whole 2 minute, hey parents, you may want to talk to your kids about this episode. Oh my goodness. Um, Full House did it when DJ or CJ or AJ or whatever her name was, the oldest girl. She and I think Growing Pains did this too, where the female character is like, I've got to lose weight, I've got to lose weight, and they go to the extreme and they talk about eating disorders. That one. I also remember a very special on Silver Spoons, right? Um, Ricky's friend was what Alfonso Ribeiro, but it was like another friend of his was getting severely beaten by his dad, where he had like whelps on his face and he had scars and mental abuse. And the father, Ricky's father, confronts the father of the child beater. And instead of arresting him, which is what they should have did, he goes to counseling and the little boy lives with his aunt. They also did a very special episode where Ricky meets this guy and he's homeless. This one just trips me out because I cannot believe they actually did this. So the guy is homeless. And Ricky's like, I got to do something. This is my friend. He can't be homeless. He's an adult, right? So he's an adult. And Ricky's like, even though he's a child, he tells his dad, hey, we've got to help this guy. He's really talented in whatever field he's talented in. And so instead of building him a house or letting him live in the mansion, they build a house in a cave because he lives, the homeless guy lives in a cave. But so instead of getting him out of the cave, they tricked the cave out. They put insulation, they put plumbing, electrical. They put all the stuff in there, but he never leaves the cave. They just make the cave way better. Wow. So a very special, you don't see any of very special. And I think that's really important. It made the sitcoms for me, right? Even Good Times did one where JJ took his date to the prom and he married her. That was Debbie Allen, right? And she had like a drug problem. And she just, yeah. And they did a very special one with, and this is a two-part episode because everybody remembers this one. So Penny, remember Penny, the waste of time character? So Penny's mother, her actual birth mother, was very abusive. And she took out that iron and she burned Penny with it. And she was like, Mama, don't. But Mama did, right? And she was like, no, not my house. And so she now will know it is her mother. But anyway, yep, Good Times did it. I know Sanford and Son never did a very special. Family Ties did a very special. They did actually a couple where um what was that girl? What was Justine Bateman's character's name? Mallory? I think it was Mallory, and she had an uncle slash not like a technical, not like a blood uncle, but somebody they called uncle, and he would just be basically filling her up and like making passes at her. And she was trying to tell them, and they didn't want to believe it because they were like, "No, he's like a family member. He's my family." Yeah, they did that one, and then they did the one that was really. This one was tripped out. It was a two-part episode. Well, no, actually, they did three. Then they did that other one. Tom Hanks was the guest star, and he was either another uncle or a friend, and he was an alcoholic, and his alcoholism just got in the way of everything. That was another one. But the one that tripped me out on Family Ties was a two-parter. So in episode one, a friend of Alex says, "Hey, can we, run some errands? I need some help." And Alex can't go because Ronald Reagan's on TV or something with the Republican Party is happening, so he doesn't go. Well, that friend dies in um, in a car accident, and Alex, of course, has what we call survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is when you survive something that you think that should have been you instead of that person. Go research it. It's a terrible disease to have, right? So he gets survivor's guilt and goes way off of the matter. That was episode one. Episode two. Whoo. Okay, so episode two is just Alex. Like the family's not even in it. And it's just a black background. Everything is black. Like the whole screen is black. And he's in a therapist's office. Therapist never talks. This is probably one of the best episodes they did. And Alex is talking to this therapist. And he goes into like when he was a child, and then comes to realize, we only have one life to live. You got to make the best of it, and you can't feel guilty because eventually we're all going to go. So we have to make the best of it. That's probably one of the, it's eerie out there, but that was one of the better done ones. Of course, I got to talk about the Mr. Belvedere one. Ho, ho, ho. So let me say this about HIV/AIDS. It is a very serious disease that affects millions of people. Yes, there was AIDS candy, AIDS, AIDS candy, but they didn't know, right? This was at the beginning of the HIV pandemic. So they just didn't have the information that we have now. They didn't have the medications that we have now that allow people with HIV to live long, productive lives. They just didn't have it. They were like right at the beginning. So keep in mind, they didn't know a whole lot like we do now. So Skipper, or one of the little boy, it was Bob Uecker, Mr. Belvedere, the oldest boy, the girl, the middle daughter, and the youngest son. Well, the youngest son had a friend, and they were in this play about presidents. And the friend, I think, got the main role as President Taft. And he was like, "Oh, sure, I hope they don't find out my secret." And Wesley, that's his name, Wesley, says, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "No, the kid is open about him having HIV, right? He's open about it. He tells everybody about it." He said, "Yeah, I got HIV." And The whole school, parents go into an outrage. They don't want any kids around them. They want him kicked out. They don't want him in school. They want him to be excommunicated. It just blows up. And Wesley takes over the role, and eventually the little boy, they switch, and he actually plays the William Taft. I think that's the president he was. The thing that tripped me out about this episode, it could have been impactful. Problem is the laugh track. And I said, laugh tracks are important. Not in this kind of case. Some shows, some of these are very special ones, they did it very well. But this one really failed because they were putting laugh tracks and stuff, and you're like, that's not funny. They're like, I have HIV. That's not funny. That's not funny that somebody has HIV. So, a very special is what is missing from today's sitcoms. Another thing that is missing is the crossover episodes. Oh, I love the crossover episodes. So what would happen is it happens now, but they don't execute it well at all. I think my grass is being mowed, and I'm like, I forgot I paid to get my grass mowed, and that sound is irking me. Um, the crossover episode was did. So a lot of times what would happen is two shows would do a crossover episode. Now, sometimes um it would kind of work. I don't know of any bad crossover episodes, but I know the ones that really did it well was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy. Those were did exceptionally well. So if you don't know, Happy Days is a show that came on in the 80s. It actually debuted in 74. Yeah. Happy Days debuted in 74, but it was mostly a show the 8, or at least I watched it in the 80s. So they had these two girls from Milwaukee, and they were Laverne and Shirley. So they got spun off into their own show. And a lot of times what would happen is to boost the ratings of Laverne and Shirley, either the Fonz or Richie or sometimes Potsy would visit their shows just to show up for an episode, ha ha ha, look. Or when the Fonz had to do his own funeral, because the Candyman, yes, I've watched enough episodes to know this. So the Candyman was after the Fonz. And so they staged his funeral. And so the cast of Laverne and Shirley paid a visit to Happy Days. This sound is really getting on my nerves. I'm like, but the one that I really liked was the 2-part episode where Fonzie or the Fonz and Richie were visiting a farm to get lucky with some girls. Now, keep in mind, Richie was dating Lori Beth, but apparently she gave him a pass and said, hey, do what you do. And so these two country girls come out, and the father's like, no, you got to marry him. Well, Laverne and Shirley come to the rescue. Well, in first episode, they say, hey, you got to get married. And then in the second episode, Laverne and Shirley come in because they happen to be in the same area for some reason. And then they come to the rescue. That was done exceptionally well. And then Mork and Mindy was a little harder because I don't think Laverne and Shirley nor Happy Days visited Mork and Mindy. Because remember, even though Mork and Mindy is a spinoff of Happy Days, it actually took place in the 70s. So it was like Mork was going in the past to visit those two characters because those two shows took place in the 50s. So keep that in mind. Another theme that's missing, and this is a big one for me. Is the theme song. I really, really miss TV theme songs. I miss them. I wish they would make a comeback. To me, the sitcom theme show set up the show. If you had never watched, you're like, well, what's this show about? They told you in the theme song, hey, this show is about a man that builds a robot and passes it off as his daughter. Or, hey, this is a show about a butler from England that helps this family out. Or, this is about a housekeeper. He used to be a baseball player, but now he's a housekeeper. Him and his daughter, they live in this house with this super uptight ad executive. I forget what Angela's job was. Or Soap. Soap did it really well. Soap set it up. Just if you just watch the way Soap did it. Soap was a satirical look at soap operas, right? But they explained two sisters. One does this, and their families, and the balance that was done well. Different strokes. Another show theme song: two black brothers go live with a white father who's already got a daughter, so they had to deal with that dynamic. Facts of life. You take the good, you take the bad, take them both. There you got the facts. They would tell you, oh, this is the story of the show. Now, the instrumental ones were a little bit more difficult. Now my pump is giving me alerts. Oh, boy, I hate this. Sorry, guys, but I got to see what this alert is. Hate this when this happens. Oh, it's telling me my insulin is low. How much I got? 19. So I was on the facts of life. Yeah, you take the good, you take the bad, take them both. There you got the facts of life. And they would, like I said, they would tell what the show was about. The Jeffersons, another good example. They were poor. George buys a whole bunch of dry cleaners. Now they live in a deluxe apartment in the sky. So they would always tell you what the show was about. I don't know any show. Maybe the Big Bang Theory had like a TV theme song, but I can't think of any comedies currently that have a theme song. I think that's really what's missing. If I could sit down and write a TV sitcom, I would definitely be insistent on getting a theme song because I think it builds right into it. It tells you, hey, this is what the show is about. Here are the characters. This is a situation. Whether you're watching or not. Growing Pains, another one. As long as we got each other. Cosby Show was instrumental. A Different World, although that was 90s. Yeah, Different World was 90s. I don't know the words to that. All I know is you can leave it or you can take it. It's a different world. Where we come from. I don't know the words to the theme song for. You know what? We got a lot of stuff going on. Fire engines, lawn getting mowed. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of another theme song. Happy Days actually had two. They had the Buddy Holly song, 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, a rock song. And then they had Sunday, Monday, Happy Days. And then they had a version of that. So they actually had like 3 theme songs. Even Friends loved the theme song, hated the show. Living Single. I did not like that's all you do is go scream Martin. That's not a theme song. That's just you. That doesn't tell me anything about the show. Except for somebody named Martin is in it. So I didn't get into that theme song at all. And the show, it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. But Living Single, Married with Children, that's another one that Love and Marriage, better than it's like a horse and carriage. Da 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 da. There's the institution. Something. Revolution. I forget. That one. Saved by the Bell was another one where the theme song played an integral part. So I really think that TV shows are missing that I talked about the crossovers. I talked about I'm trying to think what else what led to that kind of TV sitcoms now. One, where's the studio audience? Two, where's the laugh track? Three, why are they all filmed in documentary style? It's like it's like that. No, don't pay for three cameras. Let's just pay for one camera. Let's just get one camera and just pan it all the time. Oh, I can't stand that. It's like The Office did it and it kind of worked. And then every sitcom kind of does that documentary style thing. Irks my nerves. Oh my goodness. Did it stop? Yes, okay. And another thing that's missing from the modern sitcom, I don't know where it went. I like I said, laugh track is really important. TV show theme song important. It's like they're just standing there. They're not doing. They don't. They're either at work and they show their life at work, but they never show the home life. I'm like, what? Like, what do they do after work? They don't hang out together. They're just at work all the time. It's like they never tell me anything about the characters. They're either drug lords or they're in a motorcycle gang. It's not like, oh, here's a family with three lovely boys. They were four men. They were living all together, yet they were all alone. Nope. Nope. It's just, here's this sitcom about this and it's, like I said, it's always documentary stuff. They just sit there, they stare at the camera, and they start talking. Well, my life is funny because I'm a teacher. That's not funny to me. I'm like, use more than one camera. Use you're on ABC, you're on CBS. You can use more than one camera. You do not have to do that. If they're filming it with one camera, I want to know, why does it look like they're just using one? What is their life out? It's they always take place in the workplace. Never do they take place. Never do they go home. Never do they go to the bar, to the concert, to the. They just show them at work. That gets old and it gets boring. Another thing that modern sitcoms do, I can't connect to them. It's like, well, and that I think that's my problem is I connect so much to the sitcoms of the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. I I I can't even connect. I don't the characters I don't connect to. I don't want to live their lives. I think their lives are boring. I think and they always have some substance abuse issues. You cannot do a very special in every single episode. They always have some kind of substance abuse problem. They were abused. Okay, I get it. Substance abuse issues, they are very real. And if you want to do a sitcom about that, it can be funny. Here's how. So you talk about their situation, talk about, hey, maybe they feel like they're gonna backslide, but they realize, oh, I need AA or Alcoholics Anonymous. Let's just say it's alcohol, and they go to like the group, and then they become members. They become friends with the group. They can talk about situations that they get in. Where I think they did that on the sitcom Mom, but they didn't go far enough. See, they just went to, oh, we're going to show our lives outside of the group. Whereas if they were showing it inside the group, like, hey, we're going to say, hey, I'm going to be friends with this person. Let's hook up and be friends. And then they go to have different adventures, but they're always dealing with their substance abuse issues. Mike and Molly, that was another one. They were in Overeaters Anonymous. But they never talked about once they got married, it's just like the overeating, it just went away. You can do a very special in every episode. You just can't overdo it. That's the key. You can't overdo it. You got to have a balance. And I don't know how you achieve that balance, but the modern sitcoms to me just don't they just don't do it for me. I can't even think of a modern sitcom that I like. I'm sitting here like, Well, there's I don't like the dramas. I don't like modern television at all. I don't watch it. I don't like it. That's why I have Tubi. That's why I have Pluto, because I want to watch the old shows like Murder She Wrote, Matlock, and well, now I gotta say Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Living Single. Like I said, I'm not a big Martin fan, so Growing Pains. I want to watch things like that I can understand. I can grab the plot, give me a good laugh, and get out. I don't want to watch something like, oh, I'm dealing with anxiety. My life is so depressed. You have to have comedy in it, right? If you're going to call yourself a sitcom, you have to have that. And I, I don't, I can't with modern television. Like I said, I can't name any television show that's with after 2016 that I'm like, yeah, that's a great show. I don't like The Wire because I think they shoot. I don't like shows where they just always are shooting people and they're always getting killed. Don't like those type of shows. I don't like the shows where they're drug dealers or they prostitute women. I'm not gonna like something like that. I'm not gonna like shows like Weeds. I'm not gonna like um, trading, not trading spaces. What was that show with they were in the mob. I don't want to see that. Like, what do I want to see a show about mobsters for? Some of these shows, I'm just like, look, just get a 3 camera shot show, get a theme song, live studio audience, and I'll probably like it. But these shows, oh, they're so. I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta watch this. I mean, I don't have to watch it, but I'm like, you put this together. You thought this was a good idea. You thought, oh yeah, let me just do this. Um, no. Um, yeah, I'm still trying to think of a show that's today, like it be after 2016. I'm like, yeah, I love that show. Maybe Big Bang Theory, but they did have a see, they did okay. I just thought we're going Big Bang Theory. Theme song, 3 cameras, studio audience, but they didn't do a very special. They did everything else, and they didn't bring the kid in the show either. If you're watching, just go ahead and comment because I don't see any comments, but I see people watching. Um, so that those things are important. Um, for me, I just don't think the sitcom is going to make a comeback. And that's very sad because, again, they played such an integral part in my childhood. I mean, there are some episodes of shows I can remember. If I just watch it for like 10 seconds, I already know, oh, well, I remember watching that. And it kind of takes me back to the happier parts of my childhood. And maybe that's what I'm missing is my childhood. But I know today's sitcom, it's just not good. It's just not. And I know everybody talks about that show where they're all teachers. I can't. I cannot. It's like maybe if I gave it a chance, but then I'm just disappointed because I'm like, because they film in documentary stuff, which means, oh yeah, I'm not gonna like this at all. I wish that we had shows like Small Wonder. There, I said it. We need a show that's campy, under top, laughs, and sometimes does a very special. They could do a very special and talk about, oh, the kid that's on the internet too much or internet bullying. They could really do that. That's an important issue, right? Nope. We're just gonna make them sell drugs. Really? Really? Just I know that the sitcoms can do better. And they just aren't. Like I said, I just don't think it's ever going to come back. And I have to reconcile myself to know that it's not going to come back. I'm thankful for platforms like Pluto and Tubi that lets me know, oh, I can go back and watch these shows. I can go back and hear the audience just going off like they did in Good Times. That studio audience is the best, was like the first 3 years, best part of the show to me. Because they would just go in. You could tell they wasn't paying them people. They was just saying what they thought. Um, um, yeah, you give me a studio audience like Good Times had or Sanford and Son had, um, you're not gonna beat it. I mean, they were really laughing. They didn't need a prompter. They were laughing at what they were seeing, and they would talk back to the characters, which kind of annoys me because I'm like, yeah, this ain't. It is a TV show, so you can talk back to the characters when you're watching it on TV. But if you're in the live studio audience, they were like actually talking to them, like, "Girl, don't be doing that." Hilarious, but sometimes annoying. But anyway, I just, it makes me sad, but like I said, I have services, streaming services where I can go and I can watch it and I can think, oh yeah, this is what TV sitcoms should be. This is what they should be doing. And they're just not. I don't know if we need better writers. I don't know whether we need a school. Like, hey, you want to write a TV sitcom? I don't know if they need to get rid of AI and just let them think of things. But it's just, it's gone. And I don't know how to deal with it. Um, it's not a life crisis. I mean, I'll deal with it because I have to, but that's really all I have to say about this subject. Yeah, I said I was gonna be short and I've kept my promise. So remember to subscribe to the show. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Please consider going to my GoFundMe campaign. Um, I don't want to get too much into it, but I'm trying to raise $2,500 to catch up on my house payments because your girl is having a hard time being so sick this year. So I would appreciate any type of contribution. Um, Visit my merchandise page, and you can always support me on Patreon. Patreon support starts at $2 a month. And remember, February 26th, um, our show or my show, um, High Heels and Blue Jeans, is going to be coming on. That is a Patreon exclusive show. So keep that in mind. And so I haven't decided what next week's topic is, but of course, remember to watch me at 7 o'clock tonight for the Justice is Here podcast. We're counting down to moving to Thursdays of 2026. So yeah, because the end of 2025, I can't believe it's ended, but it's here. So just remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. One more time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you this evening at 7. Have a fantastic day.